Hello, contractors, and welcome to Toolbox for the Trades. My name is Jackie Aubel, and today I am chatting with David and Natascha Manley, franchise co-owners of ProLift Garage Doors in Amarillo, Texas. Even though they started their business just 2 years ago, David and Natascha are committed to giving back to their community. We talked about their partnership with the nonprofit Fill with Hope and gave tips on how you can get started with philanthropic initiatives at your business. I hope you enjoy our conversation as much as I did. David and Natascha Manley, you are both the franchise owners at ProLift Garage Doors in Amarillo, Texas. Today, we're going to be talking about getting started with philanthropy and giving back to your community. David and Natascha, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yep, it's great to be here. Appreciate it.
So excited to chat with you guys. And I have to let the listeners know, right before we hit record, I asked David and Natascha how they met, and they gave me the cutest story. Would you just mind retelling for our friends? It's just such a lovely story, and I think everyone would love to hear it.
Sure. So I grew up in the Canyon area, just south of Amarillo, and I haven't lived here in about 20 years. I'd moved off, and I moved back. Me and Natascha got hooked up through Match.com, and then she wanted to Facebook stalk me, so she asked my last name, and we had about 20 mutual friends, and she's like, well, how do you know this lady? I go, well, I played football with her brother in high school, and I go, how do you know this guy? That's my best friend. She goes, oh, my
son and his daughter to homecoming. And it only took me 1 week on Match to find the love of my life.
And she lived 2 blocks from where I grew up and about a half mile from my mom.
Yeah.
And this podcast is brought to you by Match.com. Promo code David and Natascha. That's such a sweet story. And you guys have been together for 5.5 years, you said.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And during this time, you also started a business, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But before we do, I want to hit you with an icebreaker real quick. David, what's one class you think every school should teach?
I'm going to let Natascha answer that because she's got a really good answer for that one.
Well, I really do think they should teach homemaking. I do think there's a lot of kids who go into college and they have no idea. You know, we would say back in the day how to write a check, but now how to make a payment online, how to balance a checkbook, or like how to change a tire, how to make a meal, stuff like that. The simple stuff in life, but a lot of, I think especially older people just take for granted because that's just how they were raised. And these days, kids don't learn that anymore.
I'm just going to say trades. There's such a lack of that in the area. Plumbers, electricians, garage door technicians. All that stuff there's always a need for that, and they make really good money.
Yeah, they really, really do. And so speaking of it, David, you weren't initially in the trades. You have a whole other career before this. So why don't you tell the folks listening how you got into the trades?
So my most of my adult life, 26 years or so, I was in retail. I was a retail ranger. I worked for Walmart and Kroger on the East Coast mainly. Got tired of that after 26 years, moved back home, got on with an outfit that manufactured outdoor patio cushions for Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. Privately owned company. Is a really cool gig. A lot of time off during the summer, 3-day weekends all the time. They got bought out by a bigger corporation. The founder was ready to retire, and the corporate culture got brought back into it, and I just didn't like the direction we were going. Just got frustrated with where we at. So we took about a 2-year journey trying to find something, and we got introduced to an entrepreneur coach. Just kind of took us through the different kind of our likes, our dislikes. We had a little survey that we did, and at the end presented us with 3 different franchises to see if we would be interested. And Garage Doors ultimately won out. We liked the business model of the Garage Doors a lot better, lower startup cost, easier to launch. Just start with one guy and one truck. The key to that was finding the right guy. Which we've been very fortunate with, with who we've had. I hired one guy, then about 3 weeks before we opened, and then my second technician was that same year in December. Like 3 months later after we opened, I was already ready for number 2.
Amazing. So you had this whole career in retail. You worked for 26 years in this space. The company that you had moved to got bought out, corporate culture, you didn't like it. So you went to Natascha and you said, all right, I'm ready for the next stage of my journey. And you met up with something I've never heard before called an entrepreneur coach. Can you just tell me a little bit about how that worked? Yeah, Natascha, go for it.
Yeah. Well, so they asked all kinds of questions. We had to fill in a big, huge questionnaire with lots of questions. When we did get the results of that, it was just almost scary. Like, how do you know this? I mean, for me, coming from the Netherlands, especially before I met David, if I did not know something, I Googled it. Well, that was one of the first things. What came out of this questionnaire, and, they kind of see how your personalities are and what fits best. And I mean, it was so accurate. It was unbelievable. And still, this entrepreneur coach, he's local over here, and he still is supporting us till this day. It's not like, well, you did find something, goodbye. If we have a question or there is a celebration, if he just did show up. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and their service is totally free to whoever used them. We didn't have to pay a penny. Once we ended up buying the franchise, we.
I bet you he got something out of that.
Well, yeah, but we gave him a gift, gave him a bottle of whiskey and something else. I don't remember what else we gave him, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you name drop the name of this coach and the services in case anyone's listening is interested?
Les Simpson is his name with the Entrepreneur Source.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur Source.
Texas.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. That's just so fascinating. I've done almost 200 episodes of this, and I've never met people who came into the trades through an entrepreneur coach who's like, hey, you want to start a business? Here are some great options.
Yeah. I was actually talking to my financial advisor at the time, and he did hook us up with him. And so that's how we did end up with him, because we never did hear of it before either. And we did not ever talk to anybody who went
Didn't know
through something like that.
I wish I'd have known about this 30 years ago.
So that's incredible. So you guys, 5.5 years ago, the two of you meet. You started, so we're in 2024, so that was somewhere around 2019. 2022, you decide to start this business together. Was going on a business journey together something that that you guys discovered you were similar to in your relationship? I'm so fascinated with how this manifested for you guys.
No, I mean we're I don't know. I would say we're not the typical married couple. So we do a lot of stuff together. I mean, she goes to convention with me when we go out, when we have convention every year. She went to Discovery Day. Number one, we love to travel.
Yeah.
So it was fun to go to Florida for Pantheon to check all that out. We've never really had an argument per se. We have disagreements, but there's no throwing things or cussing or getting just being rude. We don't do that. I guess the later in life when you get married and you meet the next chapter of your life, so to speak, you know what you want and you don't want.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
you appreciate each other a lot more because you know how it can be.
Yeah. It's just an awesome story. So we're specifically here to talk about philanthropy and giving back to the community. And before we get into this, I just want to kind of draw attention to this. You started Pro Lift Garage Doors in September of 2022, and we're recording this in October of 2024. So in just the 2 years that you guys have been in business, relatively small team, you have given back so much to your community. And that's one of the reasons why you were a finalist for the Prometheus Award, which is a new ServiceTitan initiative sponsored by Titans for Change, where we recognize customers who do incredible things to their community. So I would love if you could tell me a little bit about Fill with Hope and what is it about this organization that prompted you to support it?
Growing up with my mom as an educator, I kind of knew after the fact that there are food insecurities in children in the school districts. It just you can walk around with your head in the sand all day long, but doesn't negate the fact that it's still there. So I didn't really realize that until I got out of high school, and then 20 years later, then moved back, and then we had an opportunity to go with Fill with Hope. I've already kind of had a relationship with the executive director. Her mother-in-law used to teach me in school, so we kind of had a deal there. But children are just dear to our heart. They're our future, and we knew right away when our franchise challenged basically all the franchise owners to find a child nonprofit, some way to give back to children in your area. The nonprofit that he started is called Kids Lift, so we're the Kids Lift representative in our area. We knew right away, okay, we're going to partner with Fill with Hope. Monetarily wise, we've spent some money
and time,
but it's just the right thing to do. If you're in a position in your community and you're a small business owner, we don't make a lot of money, but giving back to your community in the future is going to pay tenfold. I mean, they're going to know, hey, these guys Fill with Hope, they do all this all the time. We started out with a golf tournament last year. We sponsored a hole. I think I remember it was hole 16 at our local golf course. And I picked that hole for a reason because it's far away from the pro shop. These golf tournaments, everybody's going to be drinking. They're going to be having a good time. And they need something to kind of help get some of the buzz off. So we gave away donuts and hot dogs for a donation. We raised a little over $500 that day. Then we had our food drive. It's now our annual food drive. We started last year at our local grocery store. It's probably 10 or 15 totes of food that we collected. Plus, It's crazy when you're sitting. So in my background being retail, I had customers and organizations come to me all the time. Hey, can we sit outside your store and just ask customers coming in, can they donate to our cause? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So Cindy didn't have anybody. Cindy Sheets is the executive director of Phil with Hope. They'd never done that before. I said, hey, this can work. I used to do it all the time. So we got with our local grocery store. We got it all set up. And you would be surprised at the people walking in the store. Here's $100. Here's $5. Here's $50. Number one, it was the first cold snap that we had. So it worked out good because everybody was going in the grocery store to get chili fixings. And we were set up that Saturday morning right outside, and it just turned out good. So now we helped sponsor a car show. That's one of the events that they put on to raise money. So we went and helped with that, had our booth out there, and then had the golf tournament again. We sponsored a buy your drive hole. So I paid for the drive for everybody to be up like 50 yards in front of the green. I played in the morning tournament. Natascha was like texting me, this is not working. This is not working.
No.
We're not getting any money. We're doing hot dogs and donuts again for a donation. So when we got done, I go, well, we got to do something different. So we kind of scraped the donuts and hot dogs. Okay, well, that's not working. So we're like, okay. So I started messing with the golfers because they didn't know that we bought their drive. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, I just nailed you a drive. You're 50 yards out. Perfect. All we're asking for is a donation. And then the money just started flowing in. We raised over $1,250, I think.
Amazing. Amazing.
That was great.
Next Saturday, the 26th, we have our second annual food drive in front of the same grocery store. We've made it more of a community involvement food drive. It's a month-long thing that Cindy's going around to different businesses, and they're having their food drive in their stores or in their shops. We're doing one out here where we live at the community center. Hey, can we have people drop off food and I'll come pick it up? It's turned into a lot bigger than we anticipated.
Plus, we advertise it quite a bit, local businesses, and David and I are both in a BNI, different BNIs. We talk about it over there quite a bit. And we did make actually a little shopping list now too for the food drive. So we do not just have to tell people, well, we would like 16-ounce peanut butter jars, a Capri Suns, beef sticks, stuff like that. But we can give them a tiny little bitty shopping list we did make. Just give them a sticky note and say, well,
just
that's what we would like.
Print it out, have everybody's logos on there, and it had those 4 items. And this is the items we're needing. We did it in the moment when we did the food drive last year.
I started writing.
We were just starting hey, this is what we need. This is what we need. So I think the grocery store is a little more prepared. They were in transition between store managers.
Yeah.
So this year he's going to have a bunch of different pods throughout the store. Like, okay, this is where all the Pop-Tarts are. This is where the peanut butter is, the Capri Sun, the beef, all that stuff. So we're doing that Friday. We got a lot of publicity last year through the local TV stations. We did a couple of morning news segments on the CBS and the NBC affiliate, and then we're doing that again actually Monday and Tuesday this coming week. And they came out and did an interview with us last year as well.
Amazing. Amazing. So just to kind of recap here. So David, you took your knowledge of the retail space to identify, hey, here are ways that we can optimize this food drive, right? It sounds like both you and Natascha, you guys were really quick on your feet when sponsoring the golf tournament to make sure that you were, getting as many donations as you could. And now you've made the food drive even bigger for this year. Unfortunately, this episode won't come out in time for that, but I can't wait to hear how it goes. And this is just fantastic because I'm looking at my notes here, and Fill with Hope, it looks like it covers 20 schools and over 1,500 children within those schools who suffer from food insecurity. Yeah. And I know, David, this was such an important topic for you because your mother was an educator in the Canyon School District for many, many years. And so this is something that's very near and dear to your heart. And it sounds like, Natascha, your kids probably went to the same school district as well.
Actually, my youngest one did for just a little bit. But actually, Brian and I did volunteer in the past before I met David at that organization. So I was well aware of this organization. And just as a mom, I think in general, or as a parent, if you hear that there are kids who don't get enough, they can just not function. And, if they take tests and stuff like that, teachers really tell these kids in school, well, you need to have a good breakfast, before this big, huge test, so your brain can function better. And these kids don't have that. So it just breaks your heart. We're like, this is what we need to do. This is the right thing to do. And, there's so many organizations who are amazing, but hunger, that's pretty sad.
I love also that this was a challenge kind of initiated by the franchisor with Kids Lift. Like, hey, we would love for you to do this. And your team still is pretty small, again, because your company is still so new. So I'm curious, how do you integrate this giving back and philanthropy into your company culture? And how does it shape your team's values? So the team that you do have, like, how do they react to this? And how does it, inform them in the work they do?
Right. So it's not like a mandated thing. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. You've got to be here. They're doing this. Just say, hey, we're sponsoring Fill with Hope. We're going to be one of their corporate sponsors forever. And if you want to help, hey, great. If you don't, that's fine too. We would love for you to be part of it. We had one crew that came by the food drive last year. My lead technician, he was a recipient of some of these programs back in the day when he was younger. So him and his helper went into the grocery store that day and tried to incognito get some stuff, but have nobody know that they did it. So it made us feel really good. Like, okay, he's on board. He likes it. So
that's awesome. And this is such direct community action. I'm actually not that familiar with Amarillo and the Canyon area. How many people are in those areas approximately?
So if you take the two counties that make up Amarillo and Canyon, Potter and Randall, it's probably 350,000 people. So it's not, I call it a rural metro, Amarillo metro area, but rural.
So Fill with Hope does half of that because Amarillo is split in two different counties, Potter and Randall. And so Randall County, that's partial Canyon ISD, is under Fill with Hope. And then the other side is Snack Pack for Kids, and similar organization who does basically the same thing, just for the other side of town.
For the Amarillo schools,
Yeah.
Amazing. So obviously, when people are starting businesses, when they're running businesses, they're constantly thinking about, how am I going to make payroll? How am I going to make sure that I have a profit? So I think it's really important. This is one of the things we're doing with the Prometheus Award, is to talk with owners like yourselves who are giving back. What is one thing you would want to suggest to a company who wants to get started in philanthropic work? Where should they start?
Find something that's just near and dear to their heart, whether it be an experience they had as a youngster or an organization that needs some help in their area. There's I think every area has got a ton of nonprofits. So there's many, many places to look. If you're in a BNI, that's, and Cindy's part of the Fill with Hope's part of the BNI I'm in, all your networking that you do, hey, who's somebody that's, struggling that needs a little more help? And it's not necessarily monetarily. It can be just your time, or help promote them on Facebook or the social media. Just get the awareness out of what they're doing.
And even maybe, if you don't know an organization, talk to your employees. Maybe they have a kid with some kind of disability in their family, or, it does not even have to be a kid, of course, but we just like kids. There's so many organizations who need help. There's a lot to pick from. And so pick something what's in your heart, so it does not feel like work, and it just is easy to do.
Yeah. Because you guys are doing quite a lot. You're growing a franchise. You're getting comfortable in your newish marriage, and you're also giving a ton back of your time and resources to charity. So I'm curious. I always love talking to couples on the show because there's so many husband and wife duos in the trades. How are you guys balancing your work, your relationship, and your charitable giving while keeping just the two of you in sync?
Well, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's been really easy. We're empty nesters. We have no kids at the house. We do have a little dog, grand dog.
Yeah.
We schedule everything out. We know the first Tuesday of every month at 6:00. Okay, we're going to be at Fill with Hope tonight. We're packing bags.
Yeah.
And then everything else we kind of plan it out. When Natascha gets home, so she's a floral designer by trade. So she works 4 days a week for a florist in Amarillo, and then Wednesday she worked for the company. But when she gets off work, we kind of stop work at that point in time Sometimes we'll go a little later into the evening or whatever, depending on what we have going on. But it's just, I don't know, it's been easy.
Yeah. And we often have something in the evening too for business wise.
We'll go networking events and all that type of stuff. So we go to those a lot together.
So the secret to running a successful business with your spouse is to meet on Match.com, have all your kids out of your house, and find a charity that you guys are both equally passionate about supporting.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are actually doing quite well in just the 2 years that you've been on business. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the award you guys just won?
So the Amarillo Chamber of Commerce reached out to us and said, hey, you need to fill out this form for a top business in Amarillo. One of the guidelines is you had to be in business over 2 years, and we were just shy of that mark. I said, well, I can't fill this out. I haven't been in business long enough. She goes, well, how long have you been in business? I said, just almost 2 years. She goes, well, we have a top emerging business award. So we filled that out. They came by the office and did an interview with us and said, okay, hey, you're a finalist and you actually won. There was I think 7 of them that they gave out, top emerging business, different categories. It's crazy the amount of success that we've had in the short amount of time that we've been open. We doubled the revenue volume our first year that I thought we would do, our goal. It's just, crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm very good. So we're blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys definitely are. I feel so, my heart is warm talking to you both. You're just the energy between you two is fantastic. We're going to wrap this interview up in a second, but I know you just got back from Pantheon and this episode is going to air about a month after Pantheon, ServiceTitan's annual user conference. Was there any big takeaways that you guys got from the conference that you're looking forward to implementing at ProLift?
One of the things is everything goes through the franchisor before we can implement it through ServiceTitan.
Sure,
but we just got off a call with Innova,
yeah.
We met them there. We actually just got on a call. I really liked what they had to offer. It's actually going to save me money. But the integrations that ServiceTitan has and the pro products that ServiceTitan is now offering are going to be a huge game changer. In Premium Service Brands, who's our franchisor, I'm on the pilot group for a Marketing Pro. So we're in the process of building that out to be able to launch it to the whole franchise, to the whole everybody in convention next January. It is such a powerful platform, but there's so much it can do. You need to almost be like a software genius to figure it out. I bet I'm on the phone 2 or 3 times a week with support. Okay, help me with this, help me with that. But it's been great support. I love it. And I learn something new almost every day about the platform. I love it, and the different integrations that it offers, just in time to be able to build out more processes and SOPs to more streamline your business. So I'm not doing the day-to-day in 5 years. It's more on autopilot, and then that's going to make our business a lot more attractive in 10 years if we're ready to sell or we want to keep it, or if I'm not here, or when we want to retire, we can get a general manager and the day-to-day can go to them, and we can just kind of work behind the scenes.
Amazing. Is there anything else I should have asked the two of you that would have made this a better interview?
Well, we know it's going to be probably on the air after the food drive is over, but food insecurity does not stop the end of October. So if you can share a link, that would be amazing. And if people feel like it, you can donate. And we have an Amarillo wish list with the products on it, and that's
Amazon.
I'm sorry, but that's Amazon.
Said Amarillo.
Amazon wish list. The products are on there and the right sizes, how they would like to have it, because of course, you cannot give one kid a big, huge jar of peanut butter and another a small one, as an example. And so if you could share that would be amazing.
Yep. 100%.
Donations, in any form. And so we will take care of it, that it's going to go to Fill with Hope and end up in those bags the kids get on Fridays before the weekend.
Incredible. Well, not only will we have the links in our show notes to where you can donate to Fill with Hope and to the Amazon wish list that Natascha just spoke about, we will also have links to the Prometheus Award at ServiceTitan. So if you have anyone that you would like to nominate for the Prometheus Award, you can check that out. You can learn a little bit more about our finalists and our winners from this last round of the award, which we gave out at Pantheon. I'll actually be having more Prometheus finalists on the podcast in the coming weeks. So we'll be talking more about philanthropy. I hope everyone's as excited about it as I am. David and Natascha, I have to say, I love your story. I'm going to be rooting for you. So please feel free to reach out to me in the coming years and let me know how your business is doing. I absolutely love what you guys are doing together as a couple in your like second act, third, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So please keep me posted. You guys I'm rooting for you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And we'll send you some pictures after the food drive next weekend too.
Yeah.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Thanks for being on Toolbox for the Trades.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.